This experiment is going to look at an endothermic reaction. Endothermic is a type of reaction in which energy is absorbed by the reaction and the temperature is decreased. So the temperature before the reaction is going to be higher than the temperature after the reaction. The two substances we're going to use in our chemical reaction, our two reactants, are going to be ammonium nitrate and water. And we're going to look at increasing the amount of ammonium nitrate in the different test tubes and keep the amount of water the same. What you're going to measure is the change in temperature. So if we think about that in terms of our types of variables, our independent variable, that is the thing that we're changing, is the amount of ammonium nitrate. And what we're going to measure is the temperature change. I want you to have a think about a hypothesis for this experiment. As we increase the amount of ammonium nitrate, what's your prediction about the change in temperature? Okay, so let me show you how we're going to do this experiment. We've got 5 test tubes. You need to use a permanent marker just to label them, 1 through to 5. 1, 2, all the way through to 5. I'm just going to do the first one for you today. In fact, I'm actually going to do the 5th one. And the 5th one is using 5 grams. So in the first test tube, we'll be using 1 gram of ammonium nitrate, 2, 3, 4 and 5 grams. And the amount of water is going to be the same for each. So the first step, after you've labelled your test tubes, is you're going to add 10 mils of distilled water to each. Now, we're going to use the distilled water in the distilled water bottles, okay, and you're going to squeeze it into a measuring cylinder. You just need to be very careful about a parallax error, so you need to get down low to make sure it's exactly 10 mils. Okay, I'm going to use the test tube 5 because that's for 5 grams. Okay, so make sure we've got all of that water in there. The amount of water is the same for every reaction. Okay. We're then going to use a test tube, I beg your pardon, a thermometer. Put that in just to measure the temperature of the water. That's our starting point. Once you've got that measured, you're going to record that on your table. So your results table is here in your book. Okay, for 5 grams, the starting temperature. I'm going to wait for that to go down to our starting temperature before we start. And then, whilst we're doing that, we're going to weigh out our ammonium nitrate. So we're going to have those in these little jars, okay, and we're going to use a spoon, and of course we're going to use a mass balance. Now, we're going to put the ammonium nitrate on a weighing boat before we put it into our test tube. So you put your weighing boat on the pan balance first, and then very importantly, you need to zero it or tare it. And we're going to use 5 grams, so just a little bit to start off with, okay, and then adding a bit more. This is accurate to 2 decimal places. And that's exactly, in fact I've gone too far, it can sneak up on you fairly quickly. Okay, and so that now is exactly 5 grams. Alright, so once we've done that, we're going to record our temperature and write down our starting temperature for the 5 grams. Okay, the test tube 5. Record that before you start. Have a stopwatch ready. You can use a stopwatch or your phone or your watch or something, because as soon as we put the ammonium nitrate in the test tube, I need you to start recording, because every 30 seconds we're going to be recording the temperature of the water again. Okay, here's a trick with using your weighing boat, is fold it like this, okay, to allow it to be like a funnel. Alright, so let's tip it in. Make sure you tip it all in. You need to be a little bit careful with this, make sure it's all in there. Okay, and then we're actually going to use a thermometer very, very gently as a stirrer. Now very, very gently, and remember you started your watch, and after 30 seconds, so this is why you need other people to help you out in the group, after 30 seconds you're going to be checking the temperature again. It's going to be important obviously that you don't touch the bottom of the test tube. Have a think about why you wouldn't do that. Okay, that's 30 seconds and the temperature has gone down, so I'm going to write that temperature down. Okay, again be aware of that parallax error, and get down low and look and write that temperature down straight away, and then monitor for the next 30 seconds. Again do that. I want you to repeat that for 5 minutes, and you're going to repeat exactly the same thing for each of your test tubes. 1 gram, 2 grams, 3 grams, 4 grams, 5 grams. And after you've done that, and you've got all of your data in there, I'm going to ask you to plot that on a graph and then do some thinking, some analysis. Okay, good luck.